Hello, everybody, and welcome to At the Picnics, number 16. And our very, very special guest this week, Danny, is the rider of the Hinnamungi Cup winner last week in Henry Jaggard. Thank you very much for joining us, Henry, and we'll get to you shortly. Firstly,
one of the best salutes we've seen in a long time as well.
It was a ripper, and I hope he got fined, but we'll talk about that.
That's a bit hard.
Well, I know Dylan Dean got fined when he celebrated a cup winner earlier in the year, doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but Dylan's been riding a lot longer, so that's a bit harsh.
Oh, there's a lot more. I've got some dirt on Henry from the boys. Don't you worry about that. Henry's going to wish he wasn't on tonight. So talking about Hinnamungi, Sean got a double. Well done, Sean. Lee Taylor got a double. Well done to Lee. Fascinating cup, Danny. Reg Manning got the trifecta. Cheeky Prince was the winner, and of course Henry here was the winning rider. And Danny, you rode a winner at Hinnamungi. Well done. And then
I got to steal the leading rider trophy off Sean. We finished together on the same amount of points. We carpooled it, Sean, Lee, and myself. So we split the profits from the money, and had a couple of bevies on the way home. Lee Taylor drove up, I drove home. So
love it.
Sean got out of that cheaply. But anyway, no, it was a ripping weekend. Great time away. And just a cracking day up there. The track was beautiful. Wasn't concrete like it can get. So they did a really, really fantastic job of it up there. Henry, one of the greatest salutes of all time. Great ride, mate. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Balnarring on Sunday, Danny, we had Caitlin King ride a double, so well done to Caitlin. And, geez, it was a good crowd there, Danny.
The office with Nick Bell. Yeah, it was. Long weekend, so it produced a really, really good, enthusiastic crowd. Actually, both meetings had sensational crowds. I think they got over 1,000 at Omeo, so that was one of their biggest ones for the day.
That's fantastic.
I heard rumour Balnarring had 4,000, I think. I may be wrong, but might have only been three and a half. A couple of Zoe's mates from school came, so they had plenty of kids' activity, Kelly Sports and all the rest of it. So it was a really good day. Caitlin, Mick Bell, great day out, great winners to the pair of them. Bit of controversy about the track. It was rated a good 4 to start with the day. But as Henry will also support, there was a lot of cutout, there was a lot of kickback. Patches of the track were definitely in the soft range, sort of bordering on sort of 8. Definitely didn't suit Splash of Paint. She pulled up sore. Don't think it suited a couple of other people's runners either. Don's possibly below expectations as well. So look, a few mixed comments on that, but the track was safe and presented well. It was just softer than what it was advertised. So that's
as an owner,
racing. That happens at the pros as well.
Absolutely. As an owner, it's frustrating when your horse misses the start by how much it actually got beaten by. Strong Lady missed the start badly again, and she rocketed home, but no, cost herself the start. So got to get her barrier manners right. But she's a bit of a talent, that horse. And Henry, no, you didn't ride her at Alexandra. That's right. Lee Taylor rode her at Alexandra. So now, Henry, we'll talk about the cup firstly. If you watch about 100 metres after the winning post, Danny, you'll see a horse veer across over to Henry, and there was a big fist pump going on. And he told me it was Dylan Dean. So good on you, Henry. One of your good mates, Dylan, to come and congratulate you.
It was Dylan, Sean, and I are pretty close knit. We get along quite well. We're all from around the same area. Mornington at the minute, and we actually every week we sort of get caught up cooking a sinigang. It's a pork Filipino soup. I think it's what, I don't know.
And apparently you like to burn it, Henry.
No, I do not. That was once, and I'd had a couple too many before I started the cooking process.
Well,
but if
someone said to me, I have to bring it up that you burnt it. And you're not allowed to cook it ever again.
Ask them about the first one that I cooked them when I'd never even known what it was before, and it's better than any of the ones I've cooked before.
Okay.
So,
well, they're going to be watching, mate. So
no, that's okay. And I've still got the #1 position for the best cine.
Okay. Now, Now, Danny, because Sean
I
Dillon and Henry,
I think I'd like to hear about this recipe somehow. I think this would go down all right.
it's like a soup,
our
It is
they tell me.
outstanding.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
reckon we should call Sean Dillon and Henry the three Mornington Stooges. What do you think, Danny?
Oh, look, I'll leave you to sort that one out. You can hang as much crap on them as you like. So
You're,
I'll
you're
leave
probably
that one in your
you're probably putting it pretty nicely there, to be honest. It could be called a lot worse.
Now,
This is true.
this is your first season of riding in the picnics, Henry, and your very first day of riding, you had a very special day. Your second ride, which was at Ballarat, you rode a winner, mate, and not many people on their first day and even their second ride can say that they had a winner. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was good. Me first ride actually flipped over on me in the gates.
I was going to say, Paul, you need to do a little bit more asking of the questions. Henry, let's go through your first day because let's be honest,
Yeah,
you got
me first-
spat out
me
the back.
first one-
Now you've also
Yeah.
worked on the barriers, so you have a lot of experience in the gates and so forth. So you've got a pretty good handle on things. And this thing absolutely went to town, spat him straight out the back and tried to break his leg. Then the next one came out.
It. And even if I was standing up there with it as a barrier attendant, I would have done a pretty good job if I did stop it.
Yeah, it was determined not
so
to
that-
stay there, that one.
Nah, that was a good start. The second ride I threw the stick away about the 400, I reckon. And it got beaten probably a length and a half. So I got back to the rooms and I was all but putting me kit and caboodle in and walking out to my car and driving home. But I'm lucky I sort of stayed around. I had a pretty good ride. Mark Stevenson gave me a pretty good bone, and we were lucky enough to make the most of it.
Yeah, it was a good ride too. Really good win. So
He-
that was
and he's-
certainly
he's a-
covering all bases on your first day at the races.
Yeah, that sums it up. I pretty much experienced everything in the one day.
At least you started from average and ended up on a high note.
Yeah.
So what is your background, mate? You've worked in the gates. What else have you done?
Yeah, I finished year 12 and I sort of didn't know what I wanted to do. And I had a couple of mates working racing. So I it just ended up getting a job at Flemington with Sabasan and did that part-time. And then went to Gay's. Gay Waterhouse was my first full-time job, so that was pretty full on. And it's pretty not a bad boss to have for me first full-time job. Spring Carnival come around and starting at 2:30 every morning. It was full on to say the least. But I like for an introduction to racing, I had the best Spring Carnival. I strapped the Oaks winner Pino in me first year of racing and strapped a couple of horses. Every time I seemed to take one of the races, it was winning. It was absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I've worked with heaps of horses that are now stallions and now are brood mares too. And I look back and go, how good was that? And I didn't even
realise that that's not the
no, I
norm.
was first working with them. It was tough, but it was great and it seasoned me for sure. And then, yeah, I went down to Barwon Heads and worked for Danny O'Brien for near on 3 years. And about 12 months ago, just over 12 months ago, I moved to Mornington and I've been with Amy and Ashiagi ever since. And they got an Adelaide Cup winner on Monday, which was pretty exciting for them. And yeah, and that's sort of when I started kicking off. I didn't really know much about the picnics until I got down there and met the likes of Dylan and Sean, and away we went. I did the jump outs and trials and got a job on the gates when I got down here and did a cadetship there. And now I'm a barrier attendant, qualified barrier attendant. So I'm pretty busy and it does keep me busy, but it is very good.
So tell me, the Adelaide Cup winner, because that was a ripping race, ripping run, great win. And you guys have only had the horse for 3 starts. He was bought for a jumping campaign. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And to be honest, I wouldn't be lying. I didn't really know it was running around in the Adelaide Cup.
I did. I had a couple of bucks each way on it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you did. When they bought it, it's funny. When they bought it, I was actually thinking about trying to get a bit of a percent of it, because I thought it was a great buy. And especially with the bonuses and stuff with the jumps and that. and I totally forgot about it. And yeah, there you go. Adelaide Cup come round and
away
it's one.
away they went.
What did it pay,
So
Danny?
It was about $35. I got it boosted on Sportsbet. So I
Nice.
think for my $2 or $2.50 each way, I pulled in nearly $100. So I'm not. I often follow Amy and Ash because they've also got quite a few Anachievers, or had a few Anachievers over the years as well. And they're two of the nicest people that you'd ever meet. They're really, really lovely, down to earth people.
They do
So
such a
I do
good
follow
job.
their horses a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do,
Yeah.
and they are such hard workers. They deserve every success that they
Well, I
get.
see you guys down the beach as well, and you guys are a bit like the Noonan camp. You go down the beaches and bash them through, rain, hail, or shine. It was pretty choppy down there the other morning. But yeah, they're just they do everything, those guys. So yeah, and with your background, you'd be covering all bases well and truly. You're gonna look at going over the jumps, being in a camp like that?
I have thought about it, and I will continue to think about it. It's I'll take it as it comes. I'm happy doing what I do at the moment until I get a bit more experience. I might think about it a bit more. But I wouldn't want to go over the jumps unprepared, put it that way. They do a bloody good job.
So what was your horse experience?
None.
None.
No.
Good work, mate.
None.
Well done.
I got a part-time job while I was finishing school with Saab, and I tell you what, I was lucky. He organised me to I learnt to ride from the Patterson family. John, Shane, Pete, Lennis, and Barb. So I was blessed. I'm one of the lucky ones to get education experience through them. So I wouldn't be anywhere near where I would as a horseman, to be honest, if I didn't have them. So I'm in debt to them forever, pretty much.
For those of you who don't know, John Patterson, or Patto, as he was known as, being one of the clerks through town, and that's done God knows how many Melbourne Cup winners, and his sons are also now full-time clerks. Patto's since retired, and they have broken many a horse in through the Flemington stables, and they do a lot of Clydesdale showing and cart work, and that the horse mastership and the wealth of knowledge that runs through that family is more than any of us could ever put a finger on. So, yeah, ripping place and steamed in a hell of a lot of history there.
Very much so. Plenty of sprays I've got over the years, but
it's the hard knocks upbringing, that one. So get in, get it done, or get your ass kicked, mate. So yeah. So what have you've certainly had the highs and lows already. Apart from your first day, you've also been out with a busted leg. So tell us what happened with that, because you were evidently riding with that too, weren't you?
Yeah, I had one get me at track work, and I went straight to hospital. I knew something was wrong. X-ray come up clear, so I thought, how good's this? And I've been
lucky. Wasn't
it
Frankston, was it?
Yeah, no comment. Yeah, and then it was come up. Woolamai was on the Saturday, and I just Don Dwyer had been throwing me a bone, and thanks to Don for throwing me a bone this season. He got me my second winner, and I'm very thankful for him giving me a couple of rides here and there. And he was sort of, as I was sitting there in my hospital bed, am I going to be there? Am I going to be there? And I was like, yeah, can you wait 20 minutes? I'm waiting for my X-ray results. And I was sort of waiting around for a couple of hours. They came back and they said, there's nothing wrong. You clear. So I said, beautiful. I'll be there on Saturday, Woolamite. Ended up getting a full book. Went back to track work, rode a couple here and then went to Woolamai, and then Monday come round, pulled up absolutely shocking. And then that's when I went for a second opinion, got sent to a radiologist, and the bloke doing the ultrasound doesn't even look at the bones, and he goes, I can see something through the ultrasound. And I thought, oh, what's this bloke going on about? They sent me for another X-ray, got the results back a couple of days later. They said it's clear. And then the bloke that must have done the ultrasound has said to his boss, who sent the report back saying I was clear, saying, have a look at this. So I went back to track work, I think I rode 5 on my first morning back, and I pulled up Buggery, and just as I got to my car driving home, thinking, "How I hate this. This is no good. My leg's busted." Got a call saying from my GP coming, "Oh, you've had to change your results. Can you come back in straight away?" So I went in there, and they're like, "Oh yeah," showed me the report, and yeah, you've got a broken leg. Can you go off for a CT scan today? I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess so." So yeah, then we went from there, and next thing you know, 8 weeks off. I was lucky I didn't need surgery by the barest of margins, but it was still pretty annoying.
So what did you actually break?
The fibula head, right up near the
Right.
knee. Yeah.
So that's why it was so hard, and because of the swelling, they wouldn't have been able to see it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because you can weight bear on it because of where it is, it sort of changes thing up a bit, because I couldn't walk on it, but I could put a little bit of weight on it. So I mustn't have thought it was that bad, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, good on you. Horse people, see, you're all bonkers, and we're all a bit tougher than what we need to be. So what are some of your other highlights that you've got, seeing as you've only been in the industry so short a time? What are some other things that you've really have stuck out to you?
I've worked with a lot of good horses. I mean, when I worked with Gay, I've worked to strap the horse Pino and Our Crown Mistress, and I strapped in a Melbourne Cup. The horse won the Lexus on the Saturday, and then ran in the Cup on the Tuesday, and I strapped something in the 2-year-old race at the start of spring week. I was strapping all the big days and all the big races. It was great, and watched horses like Global Glamour and stuff come through the stables. I went up to Sydney and rode work when I was starting to learn, and that was exciting. Saw all the good horses. When I went to Danny's, Danny O'Brien's, I worked with a lot of good horses there too. Strapped a Adelaide Cup winner, King Leah Grant, so I got to ride his work every day. That was exciting, and the same day I strapped another one of Mr. Williams' horses, won the first, and we got a double. So that was exciting, and some of the horses I've come across you wouldn't dream about sort of even putting a hand on. So I've been pretty lucky in the 6-7 years that I've worked in racing. But being able to, it's sort of always been my ambition as I was a young kid, having a $3 quaddie on a Saturday, with me popping me old man, being able to ride a winner myself. That's I wouldn't have even dreamed of it, to be honest.
Has Pop been fortunate enough to be able to come to the races?
No, Pop's long way gone. No, you're right. But I know that he would have been looking over me for sure. Nan definitely does. Nan was the first one to message me saying how proud she was. So
brilliant.
Yeah, they I know Pop was hard about it. So yeah, that's one of my main driving forces anyway.
Yep. So what other sort of long term, have you got any other races that you'd really like to strap in or win riding or anything like that?
No, not really. I take it as it comes. I love it. As long as I keep loving it and enjoying it, I'm going to be happy doing it. And any winner, like, I just love to keep winning. I love winning. Yep. So any race.
How many have we had this season? Have you got 3 or 4?
Only 3 now. So the cup, hopefully a couple more before the season finishes. I'll be wrapped.
How's your weight going?
My weight's all right. I look after it on a Thursday and a Friday. Yep. That's about it. As long as I don't carry on too much, I'm pretty good.
Right.
Danny, he said to me earlier that he was at one stage, he was 51, which, looking at him, that's very, very lightweight. So I'm glad.
Might have been 61.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not trying to ride at that, my friend. Because yeah,
I'd have to chop off my third leg.
Now we met your lovely partner before we come on air, which is professional jockey.
She can hear you, and I'm watching her head blow up.
No, Kieran Quilty, a lovely young lady, mate. So you've done very well for yourself,
really?
Henry.
I used to go to apprentice school with her old man.
Yeah, so don't blow her tires. I'm watching it. Her head's expanding.
We won't get you in
Don't
trouble,
blow her
Henry.
tires.
Henry, tell her I'll kick your ass. Kick your ass if you're too rude to her. She's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, he was saying, Danny, that he wouldn't talk to her. So she had to go up and sort of put herself out in front of him at the gate so he would actually notice her.
I wouldn't talk to anyone until the sun comes up. I ain't talking to anyone. Paul, track work.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
can
because
relate to
your eyes
that.
are closed,
I've
I'm
got to
scared,
have at
so.
least. Yeah, Mel picks on me because I get up a bit earlier than what I probably need to at times, because if I don't have at least one cup of coffee and at least 45 minutes before I surface for people, I'm horrific and I'm very antisocial. You can ask my husband, Colin, who works for me, or anyone else that sees me first thing in the morning, especially if I've slept through an alarm. I am the crankiest little asshole that's walking, let me tell you. Yeah.
Well, that's
no,
not
no good for socials, let me tell you.
and that's not always that early in the morning, Danny.
Look, it just depends. Yeah, no, fair
We
call, Paul.
talked about that last week.
Yeah, we did. We did.
You're all right. You're all right.
If I'm not sleeping well, I'm a little bit horrific. So
We
yeah.
all are.
All right. So we better get some of the important questions out. So what do we
Yes.
drink, Henry? Beer, wine, or spirits?
All three.
Oh, three. Beautiful. Not biased there at all. Well done. Good answer. What football team do you break for? Please don't say Richmond, because you're going to make Paul's head blow up further than what it is.
I'm a Melbourne man.
He's a passionate Melbourne man, Danny.
Yep. So what footy team does the missus follow?
Geelong. She's a
Oh,
Geelong.
that makes for entertaining weekend football coverage.
Yeah, no, I went to a footy game with her. I took her to one last year with two of my friends, and she actually fell asleep with her head on my shoulder.
How do you do that at the footy?
Yeah, it was Carlton versus Melbourne, and they torched us in the first half, and she'd fallen asleep with her head on my shoulder. And then I reckon Melbourne put about 3 or 4 on in a row in the second half, and she'd woken up. I shit you not. She woke up and watched the last quarter and a half, and she leaves and she goes, "That was the best football match I've ever been to."
Oh, that's magnificent.
Look, in saying that, she
we
works.
we
for
got
Mick
over the
Kent,
top and
so
rolled them.
yeah, look, she works at Mick Kent. She'd worked some pretty massive hours too. So, I'll give her credit. You got to get a nap in where you can. So, I can relate. So do we go to the movies or do we stream live stuff inside?
I like the movies. I end up going by myself most of the time though.
Yeah, well, she might fall asleep too.
Yeah, correct. last half hour. Wake up and go, "Look, hold on. What have I missed?"
So have you got many rides lined up for Alex, mate?
None. Can't get one.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Jesus, Alex is a tricky little joint. Did you have any last time at Alex?
Yeah, and I didn't like it, so I don't want to go
You're
back.
not too phased by it now?
I got no comment.
Yeah, don't ask Paul.
Paul's not a big fan of it either. He was talking through his pocket last time, and he wasn't a big fan of Alex either.
Well, Henry rode one of mine, and we won't talk about it.
Yeah, I rode that.
These things happen. Look, these things happen. No, I'm sending one of mine to Geelong. But I've managed to pick up a couple. So I'm sending Colin to Geelong, and I'm off to Alex. So that'll be entertaining for me.
I'll take it and strap it for a quid. I'm missing out. On a quid.
Oh, well, I suppose you're down this way. Nah, I can't afford the strapping fees at the moment. I haven't ridden enough winners this season.
Geez, you charge me enough, Danny.
I know. Yeah, I've got to charge for anything I can. So, hey, you only own 1%. You don't get charged that much.
Still fair amount.
No, your horse is
fun.
taking a bit of work, so.
Yeah, no, she's going beautiful. Don't worry about last weekend.
Nah, I'm not now. So yeah. So what else? What else you got lined up for you down your way? Do you ride much track work to get race rides and that as well, still, Henry?
Nah, I just ride at Amy and Ash's, sort of as much as I can, and they're a bit quieter at the moment. Once the numbers build up, I'm sure I'll get ride a bit more work, but I'm sort of enjoy doing the barriers the most, to be honest, and any jump outs and race meetings I can get to, I sort of get to. I love doing that. So, yeah.
So do you get a few days a week, couple of days a week or so doing that now?
Yeah, well, I'm always at the Cranbourne jump outs. They're long days. They take up most of my Monday mornings, to be honest. And Mornington have them every Wednesday.
Yep.
And then at the moment, packing them Thursday nights, Friday nights recently. And now we got Sale on Friday, and we go all the way out to the Gippsland area. So we're always pretty busy year round.
You got a big week lined up.
Very big.
Possibly not a bad thing you miss, Alex. You'll need to sleep by then.
Yeah, I last time I went to Alex, I reckon I did the Thursday night packing them and Friday night packing them as well. And I rocked up on the Saturday after riding work. I just didn't want to be there. I was
Henry, our good mate Chris, he's all fired up. He's going tomorrow night. See Tigers and Carlton, and of course, he's heard you're a Melbourne supporter, and he was actually going to come around for a bit of that City gang, but hearing you burn it, mate, you've let him down. Now you got homemade pizzas happening tonight. He's already rang the Uber. Yeah. He's coming around. Is that all right?
There's plenty of space here.
All right. Is Kieran going to be all right with that?
No, he will have to leave strictly after he's eaten. He'll be shown the door.
No dessert?
No dessert.
Mate, jeez.
Well said.
Danny, people have been harsh to Chris lately.
Look at him. He's a good-looking rooster.
He is.
I can't let him stay longer than he's.
Oh, come on, Henry. You're a better-looking rooster, mate. He's no competition.
I don't know about that.
Henry's got to look after what he needs to look after. Very simple. Well said.
That's right. Exactly.
And because I don't want to share dessert.
What's dessert?
That's the main reason. What is for dessert, Tom? Ice cream.
Yeah, sensational. Right. I'd agree with that.
Can't go wrong with that. With topping?
Yes. Caramel.
Topping or ice magic.
Oh, the ice
and
magic.
It is the best, especially the mint one.
Is the ice magic still around?
Yes.
Absolutely. There's multi-flavors of it. You can get white choc, caramel, choc mint, and plain chocolate, I think.
It's been around for years. That's awesome stuff.
It is the best stuff. Yeah, I used to... I actually got sprung once for having ice cream for breakfast. One of my friend's sons came down and stayed with us, and they'll remain anonymous. But Warwick Hutchins and I got sprung badly because he spilt some of the ice cream on the bench, and evidently I spilt a drop of the ice magic, and both of us were too stubborn to clean it up.
Oh, no.
So as 9-year-olds or 7-year-olds, whatever we were, when Mum came home from the track, Mum's like, because we'd washed the bowls and the spoons, dried them and put them away. It was just literally these two marks of ice cream on the ice cream and the ice magic on the table that gave us away. So my mum went berserk because we both lied about it and said, no, we didn't have any ice cream for breakfast, but yeah, no, sprung bad. Yep.
I love it. So this Saturday, Danny, we've got Alexandra, and it's the Cup.
Alex? And it's their cup meeting. So I'm hoping, Alex, please make sure we have hot water this week, please.
Okay.
My only pickle with the joint, they tend to forget to turn the hot water service on, so it gets to the end of the day, it hasn't been turned on, and we have cold showers.
Okay, and then the weekend after, we've got Healesville, and they've got the Golden Thong, and also they're going to run their cup, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so
they're going to run that because it was obviously abandoned earlier in the season. So
yeah,
good on you, Healesville. That's great. So there's plenty of good racing coming up, guys.
Certainly is. Although we're getting to the tail end of it, we've certainly got a few good ones left, and I'm sure Henry will be heading back up the hill and Reggie will be handballing him a couple more rides after his performance at the weekend. So I'm tipping him and Dylan will be sharing a few of the rides around between themselves.
Unless Sean knocks him off from us. Pretty good at that.
Look, he's always a given for trying. Yeah.
He can pull one off, Shawnee.
Every week.
Mate, he's 10 or 11 clear of the rest of us, and he's still ringing up trying to snipe us for rides. It's like, oi, Buster, settle down, mate.
Every week we get into Sean, and I love it. All right,
we do.
Guys. Of course, this show is brought to you by Picnic Bet. Thank you very much, Fran from Picnic Bet, who always uploads the show on the Picnic Racing Facebook site. Henry, an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. You're a very polite young man, and had the pleasure of actually meeting you in person in Alexandria, and it was delightful. So good on you, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Been a
Pleasure,
No
pleasure.
mate.
worries. Thanks for coming on, mate. Take care. Have a good pizza night, and we'll catch up with you at the weekend.
Will do.
See you guys. Thank you so much. Good luck
See
this
ya.
weekend. See ya.
Bye.
Bye bye.